This is C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate. Today's topic is going to be on one particular thing that I just noticed today. With the usage of many delivery companies, if you want to call third-party companies, in the sense of like DoorDash, Uber Eats, any number of other ones, right? It is regardless of the so-called regulations, and even if it was a good idea, or even if um, the company did not fully agree on the contract between the third-party delivery service, or um, with possibly even brought up concerns after such contractual agreements, if there was any, or if the third party delivery company decides to put the franchise on their delivery service. Now, this one has to do with between DoorDash, the third party delivery service, that many people are using even in the Bay Area, um, and In-N-Out Burger. Now, In-N-Out Burger has logical, sensible concerns, and believe me, I'm 100% behind them on this. Because nobody wants to have a delivery service deliver even moderately warm to almost cold, to where they have to reheat the food that they order that's supposed to be hot and fresh in the fucking beginning. Um, and In-N-Out has very logical, sensible concerns. They want people to order their food and be more than satisfied. Any franchise wants that, really. But the unprofessionalism of the DoorDash delivery service, be that of course known as the third party delivery service, is being questioned, of course. Um, and being, shall we say, scolded, really, in this sense, of the way of handling, and shall we say, the presumed non-timely delivery of the ordered of the ordered, shall we say, content of food and drink. Um, if DoorDash just went ahead, and I'm not saying they did, but if DoorDash did just go ahead and just put In-N-Out on their service, even with it being not contractually agreed with In-N-Out, then that's unprofessional and it's not business friendly, nor is it logical, and it's way beyond sensible in the sense of not being logical and not being business friendly, and it's not also known as, shall we say, infringement, which is illegal, and also, even if McDonald's, Carl's Jr., Wendy's, Jack in the Box, what have you, Even in the restaurants, uh, even if they do have contractual agreements with them, and so they figure, okay, well, we can put in and out on, even though they don't have a contractual agreement, even if it's even if it's a trial base, right? You don't fucking do that. If you are going to deliver a a food product, you have to make sure you have the right material, the right carrying aspects, and and to where like Domino's Pizza, for example, they made sure they had the right equipment essentially to keep the pizza from being cold while being delivered. I DoorDash is of course being accused in the sense of blame of such of an issue that that they're not doing that pertaining to the deliveries from and made through In and Out, or supposedly made through In and Out through the DoorDash app. But the one thing is, DoorDash it should always have complacency in the sense that if the franchise or any other particular food um, establishment uh, has any concerns, even if not at first, they should always keep the door open in case there is any concerns that pop up at any given point. DoorDash might claim that they are having a door open on that aspect, but obviously not. That can easily hurt Uber Eats. That can easily hurt many other third-party delivery services like DoorDash, like Uber Eats, and many others. So DoorDash is in the wrong on that one. Now you're probably wondering where does In and Out lay on this whole thing? In and Out being that they are a privately owned, family owned franchise. They're not public in the sense of NYSE, which especially I consider that to be the smartest move any business has ever made. And with the fact that their growth is slow and steady, which is a logical aspect to it too, because they don't want to just place their franchise in any way, shape, or form in any location, even if it's, shall we say, not really profitable for the company and not really, shall we say, uh, where there's going to be foot traffic for that location, wherever the location may be, shall we say, planted. Much like Tom and Joe Long did for the very first store. Um, they made sure that it was more than a well-trafficked area before they totally, fully decided on a location for their first store to start. Um, that helped him more than exponentially. In fact, I see that In and Out's using the same concept, but granted in their own way. I In the past, I can say that I one time I called Leader Pharmacy, which is a smaller conglomerate type of pharmacy, uh, which really doesn't have a particular location of their own because they're partnered up with, shall we say, mom and pop pharmacies mostly. Um, I brought up a location that they could put their actual store in. They didn't really go for it. They asked me, "Am I the landowner of the area, or am I the realtor of the area?" No, I told them, "No, I'm not." I just thought I just told them I was honest with them. I said, "Well, I thought it'd be a good location." And aside from that being a positive competitive aspects to go against at the time CVS, which is still there in the same location I mentioned. But yet they still didn't go for it. They said, "Well, we'll talk about it with our partners." Obviously, they didn't go for it. But outside of that, um, I'd say that DoorDash has only one option at this point, aside from the lawsuit that In and Out has put against and towards DoorDash. DoorDash needs to drop the logo, their own even infringed logo, if it is infringed, of In and Out off their app till such time that In and Out is more than well more than informed and more than sure that their food will be delivered still hot and fresh to the person that orders it through the app. I don't see In and Out doing their own delivery service anytime soon or anytime within their future because that in itself can be costly. It was it was shall we say a profitable thing for Burger King to do as they did a number of years ago, but due to the complaints by delivery the people who delivered the food at various locations, is why they stopped doing it through their own, shall we say, franchised locations and districts. But now Burger King and McDonald's and many others are using Uber Eats or DoorDash or any other third party thing, which basically is costing the company more, and it's causing less and less traffic, even in the delivery service, because one, with the delivery service, instead of being able to where if you don't have a credit card, you can order it and then say pay by cash at door when delivered. Um, that would be more business for not only the franchise but also for the third party delivery service. Yet many people say, "Well, people are credit card savvy." Not all. The percentage of people who have credit cards is not that large as much as many people think. There are many that do not have credit cards that only buy things either by cash in hand or um, a shall we say debit card, EBT, various others, but not all have the luxuries of being able to have a credit card. Therefore, also pay the credit card off after the bill comes, because various numbers of people have, or at least a variable, if not higher than variable percentage, have only so much to utilize as well as spend, especially in today's economy, and even in the areas of Silicon Valley. And yes, I know many people think that in Silicon Valley everybody uses credit cards out there. Not everybody. I know a number of people who do not have credit cards. They don't utilize credit cards even when they purchase things. I know a number of people that do have credit cards, but they're able to afford it. And I do know even larger amounts of people that don't have credit cards for various financial, economic reasons, which are still logical and more than understandable and reasonable. So, DoorDash isn't wrong. DoorDash is not really doing them any favors. DoorDash isn't really doing any franchise any favors by assuming that they're even trying to voice that they are not in the wrong when basically they are in the wrong. And I know you're wondering why I say that, even with the fact that I'm a business advocate, I should be able to support them. I do support them if they are sensible. But there's many factors to be looked at and to be thought through, even speculative ones. So even if DoorDash decided to put the In and Out on the thing, even if In and Out agreed to it only as a trial base, then In and Out should be able to, without question and without any difficulty or holdback from DoorDash of any sort, type, level, and they can't be locked into the damn thing either. Even though I know DoorDash would like to lock them in to where they keep on doing it, regardless of how the food comes and is received by the person that orders it through their app of DoorDash. If DoorDash does that, then they're not really only hurting the franchise by delivering a partially cold, if not fully cold, to where they have to reheat the damn thing in their own home when it should be warm or hot and fresh and whatnot already, even from the grill to bag to home, where it still should be hot and fresh. if they don't have the right people to make sure that the contents of the order get there while it's still hot and fresh, and if they don't have the right shall we say material, like like Domino's does, then DoorDash needs to release the hold on In and Out and take In and Out off their off their app, even if it's a logo infringement or any level and type and kind of infringement. Yes, it's supposed to be helping businesses like In and Out, especially with this so-called politically motivated pandemic situation here. I but if they don't have the right material to keep the food hot and fresh from it being even moderately to partially to any percentage level and what have you cold, or even moderately cold, or moderately warm to almost fully cold, especially. Then DoorDash needs to take the In and Out logo off of their app, release the hold on In and Out, because as this business advocate sees it, with the fact that I support In and Out on this one, and I back and I back one more than 100% In and Out on this one. In and Out will undoubtedly win the court case. There's basically no there's basically no uh, no win side for DoorDash on this one, and that could hurt and damage the longevity and the reliability of what people come to expect from third-party delivery services such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, and various others. So DoorDash, as a sensible businessman and a logical businessman like I am, I'm putting out there that you take down the infringed or not infringed logo button off your app of In and Out till such time that you are able to get the right type of material to keep their food hot and fresh, therefore where they're able to test it out with your, shall we say, third party execs, to make sure they have to do it to the points where it's an ongoing process of a trial base. If you do not, then you're going to be not only negatively affecting your company, DoorDash, but also you're going to be negatively affecting the other third-party food delivery services that are your general competitors, one of them being Uber Eats. And if that continues, it'll be like bye-bye Uber Eats and bye-bye DoorDash, to the points to where your services will be no longer utilized due to the trust factor will have gone down the damn tubes even in the NYSE aspect. So DoorDash, again, take the damn button off your app of In-N-Out, or you will be negatively affecting your company and the reliability of your company, and you will be negatively affecting other food delivery services that are known to be also third party besides you, DoorDash. And In-N-Out and the owner of In-N-Out, I support you more than 100%, and I'm 100% behind you 100%. And I know that DoorDash may want to do a, shall we say, a out of court settlement event if they haven't already. When I say event, I mean eventually. But the one thing is, that's exactly what CVS did when it came to their fuck ups continuously. And this started from before CVS, uh, before CVS acquired Long's, which was secretly sold. Of course, there was a bidding war between Walgreens and CV. I was rooting for Walgreens, and with that, Walgreens would have had to change their prescription bullshit from the way they have it, even at current, with that level D shit to any level like Long's did. Um, but CVS was sued 3 times in 3 separate years. One for continuously selling over-the-counter items such as baby formula and various other items, including the ones that they have in their little freezer, in the refrigerator or freezers, being of course milk and various others, where they were completely expired and they were still on the shelving to be sold. CVS was sued 3 times for that very reason, because each different location kept on repeating the same shit. Regardless of how big CVS or any company is, you can't be doing that and then get a brush off and expect to get a brush off even in a court settlement. There's ways to divert from that happening. Or be that, of course, make sure that it doesn't happen. And I've mentioned it before. Longs did this very thing where every few months or so, they would have an employee at various different locations, if not every location practically within the same week, if not different weeks. Um, They would have one or more employees, depending on also possibly depending on the size of the store as well. Um, to where they would go, the employee or employees would go to many different aisles, and it didn't matter where they started from. They could go to many different aisles, make sure not one thing, not one item was close to the expiration date in any length or distance close to the expiration date. If it was, they'd replace it or put something else in its place. A different item that had the same, shall we say, effectiveness and non-effectiveness as the item that was being replaced did. Of what the item that was being replaced had in the making of it. Vehicle, of course. The one thing is, CVS has not done that one iota, not once. What CVS is doing, and they're still doing this to even this point in time, and I've seen it. If you go to any moderate to small sized store, and it could depend on location too, you'll see a little sticker saying if you see any item that's close to or totally expired, essentially, not really in these words though, okay? But it would mention if you see any item that's expired. They expect the customer to inform the staff member, be that the associate, to inform them. But even with that, there's highly unlikely that the associate would take it upon themselves to take care of it. They just leave it until someone actually does it. Longs would never do it that way. And CVS is supposed to have well-trained associates, well-established associates. If they are told by a customer and then they just brush it off as if it's no big thing, but yet if another customer says the same shit, they still brush it off, then basically guess what? That could easily put CVS in another lawsuit. CVS's Consumer Value Center, or well, not center, but stores essentially, which is the abbreviation of CVS, Consumer Value Stores. Consumer being the person that goes into, of course, everybody knows that, right? If they value the consumer, obviously they don't value the consumer as well as the abbreviation is established and has been established since the very first store. So basically, CVS needs to change their logo or make sure that they're appropriated a lot better than they have been even before the lawsuits. Granted, these lawsuits that I mentioned happened again many years before they acquired Longs, and many years before Longs was even put in the for sale aspect by the president and CEO of Longs in 2008. Something that only possibly the management knew, but the rest of the associates didn't. So basically, CVS needs to either quit acting like they're too big to worry about shit. They need to quit doing that shit and actually be more sensible, more professional, more customer friendly, and make sure that not one item is near the expiration date or anywhere close to the expiration date or completely fold up. Because when a company does not take the initiative, or more than the initiative, to make sure that their items are not even remotely close or even on the expiration date or even weeks past the expiration date, they're not really showing any care, concern, or any professional care and concern. And where they're supposed to be customer friendly, that doesn't show customer friendly. If they're not going to show any care and concern about the items that they have on their shelving, if it's already on, even past the expiration date, or even fairly close to extremely close to it, to even moderately close to it. If they don't take care of that to where there's no item anywhere close to expiration, then the company might as well fold up. And it doesn't matter how big they are, and it doesn't matter how so-called strong and wealthy the fucking idiots that are within the corporate office. And I don't care if CVS hates me for saying that, but I'm being honest and I'm telling the truth. And I don't care if DoorDash likes what I said about them either. I'm a business advocate, and I'm also a person who cares about the customers that each and every establishment serves within each and every community and city and town and state and county. If I was the proprietor or owner and founder of CVS, I would make it more than a damn fucking rule to make sure that not one item is anywhere close to the expiration date. And no, that would not mean to where I would make sure that there's items in there that don't expire. Of course, there's going to be items in there that don't expire. Yeah, of course, right? But there's always going to be a time to where there are going to be more than one item that will be moderately, fairly, at some level and percentage near the expiration date. And if the company, retailer, franchise, whatever, is not going to be compliant, logical, sensible, customer friendly, and caring about that, then they might as well fucking fold up and be another Circuit City and Mervyn's to the points of non-existence. Or have somebody in the corporate office that will make more than damn sure that fucking shit happens of what I said. Where the items are nowhere near the expiration date on any level, percentage, and length, and what have you else. Where the items are not even expired, not even close to expired, not even beyond the aspect of the expired, dates. There's one thing I will add, and it has to do with Safeway. This could be also due to uh, their connection with Albertsons, where basically Albertsons is probably the one that's calling most of the shots, right? And if that's the case, they're trying to turn out on Safeway into another Lucky. When Albertsons merged with Lucky's, they eventually completely fucked Lucky's over to the point to where Lucky's was practically taken over by Albertsons, to where every Lucky's location was practically an Albertsons. Even the ones that Albertsons didn't take, Lucky's folded up, right? The one thing is, is that if Albertsons is about to do that to Safeway, Albertsons might as well fucking get the fuck away from Safeway. Because the reason I say this, the time that I went over to Safeway, the one time which was, I believe, about a year and a half or so ago, right? Um, it was in the dairy area of the store. It it came to my attention that this is the first time I've seen this too. This is the very first time I've seen it when I saw this. Is that they orange tagged their milk. Be that the ones that were moderately close, if not right on or beyond the expiration date of the milk, they orange tag, expected to sell. And if that was the the authoritarian call for that Albertsons made towards numbers of Safeway stores in any district, then guess what? Safeway, you're about to be fucked over like Lucky's was by Albertsons. And the reason I say that is because I know Safeway um, well enough to know that they're fully about quality. At least they used to be. The basic fact is that if Safeway is going to be that non-compliant and still try to sell even items that are moderately close to the expiration date, like they did with the orange tagged milk, they need some real deep aspects of where they either disattach themselves from Albertsons, be separate owned and operated retailer like they were way before the merging aspect of any retailer was ever in the known society and reality, or eventually they're going to be digging a hole for themselves, and there'll be another Lucky's, Circuit City, Fry's Electronics, and Mervin's. And I don't want that because Safeway is a family respected retailer and grocer. It's to me, it's a family traditional type of store to shop at, and I'm sure it's the same way for others. And maybe a veritable will shop anywhere else too besides Safeway. But I can tell you I have shopped other places, but I've always viewed myself when I was younger to continuously shop at Safeway, and I have from from my late 20s to even now, and I will continue as long as I possibly can, and even for as long as Safeway still exists. If Safeway turns into another Longs to CVS, then just as Payless turned into a Rite Aid, I'll go over to Rite Aid. And if Safeway turns into an Albertsons, I'll go over to a different one that's moderately like Safeway. And I don't want to do that though. I didn't want to go from Longs to Rite Aid anyway. But of course that's the way it ended up. But I don't want to have it I don't want to have it done to where I have to do that when it pertains to Safeway and other grocery retail. Ever since I was 3, 4 years of age, I've always, not always, but at various points that I even can remember, I've gone to Safeway with my grandmother and my mother as they did some grocery shopping. From while my grandmother did shopping, my mother came with her, and I came with my both of them right when I was younger. And at various points when my mother was able to afford it, she did some shopping too. Yeah. Therefore, when I saw that continuously, I saw myself doing the same thing when I got older. I envisioned it myself when I was younger of me independently going to say shopping, and I have been thus far. So you see, it's a family type of grocer. Shall we say it's a shall we say you can call it a tradition type of family shop type of retail grocer. There's other aspects and explanations to it, but mm, the traditional thing, which basically would be more than logical. So Safeway needs to really think about it on that one, and so do the other ones I mentioned. Um, there's one other thing though too. Well, maybe more. Uh, about a few months ago or so, if not sometime last year or so, that McDonald's tore down in Del Plains, Illinois, tore down Ray Kroc's first franchise McDonald's with the separate arches, right? Even though while he was, and he did this, he opened it while in a contractual agreement with the McDonald's brothers. And the reason they tore the dang thing down was the electricity, the cost of electricity was too expensive. McDonald's is more than a multi-million to billion-dollar franchise. and they were making money even off of the museum aspects of things. So with the continuous foot traffic that they've gotten in each and every one of the restaurants, even overseas, you'd think they'd keep that thing. You'd think they'd keep it up and still running and still, shall we say, in plain view, because it has more than a historical significance to it. Regardless if the Founder movie came out about the truth of the McDonald's that Ray Kroc didn't really mention too much of, if hardly at all. So I'm going to ask McDonald's through this video to reestablish the same location and place the Ray Kroc's first established franchised McDonald's right where it was. Therefore, also, just like Disney did when it came to Oswald, McDonald's can do when it comes to the location of the very, very first operated, owned, and ran by the McDonald's brothers. They can buy the land and rebuild the building of the very, very first, extremely first McDonald's, and use that as a museum in its own right as well. Whether if McDonald's going to take that into even way beyond consideration in a positive light or not, who's to say? But I can tell you, I like watching the Founder movie, and even as small children, we were thought to we all had the thought that Ray Kroc started the business. He didn't. He only expanded it as it's plainly shown in the movie. Though he and I'm not going to demean Ray Kroc because Ray Kroc is a businessman in his own right. He went from paper cups to the multi-mixer, and then eventually the multi-mixer thing didn't really pan out for him very long. But of course, he used the multi-mixer after the contractual agreement with the McDonald's brothers. There's another part of it though too. What Ray Kroc did not give to the McDonald's brothers that he promised, even in accordance to the movie. And I'm not going to say what the movie is in actuality on the agreement, although it could be at the same time because McDonald French has be the grandson of the one of McDonald's brothers, considers the movie of the founder his own level and type of payback against Ray Kroc, even towards Ray Kroc in this one. But McDonald's could easily give the proceeds that were promised to the family of the McDonald's brothers. In fact, I'd call that more than logical. With as much foot traffic as McDonald's has gotten even thus far, even before the movie itself, they would still be able to get back what they give out to the McDonald's brothers family members, the ones that are still alive. That is. So basically, McDonald's would not lose out on any level financially and economically. There is one thing though too, and I'm in still strong support of this. That every franchise even should take it more than consideration. Even if they test it out for one location. But this one particular thing that I support more than 100%, In and Out's done since its inception. Even, shall we say, maybe many years, or if not a century and a half after its inception. That they are not connected in any way, shape, or form to the NYSE. And of course, when I say NYSE, I mean New York Stock Exchange. Therefore, they don't have any shareholders, stockholders, or anything. Therefore, at the same time, they're able to steadily and slowly put various locations of their franchises wherever the fuck they want to, with the fact that the franchise is not that far from their distribution centers of where they get their products, the French fries, the meats, the you know lettuce, onion, and tomato, and all that shit too. You know that would help every business in existence. That would have easily helped every business that was in existence. That was in existence. The ones that went under, it would have helped if they disconnected themselves from the NYSE, from stockholders and shareholders, and they would have a better aspects of operation and control of their own companies and franchises, retailers as well, and many others. Um, and they'd be able to employ possibly even more people. Therefore, there'd be the unemployment line could go to the point of non-existence. Therefore, also that the same thing can happen for and to and with um, small businesses, to where they don't connect themselves to the NYSE, to where they don't connect themselves with or even partner up with any stockholder and shareholder. Just like In and Out did not connect themselves or even partner, and In and Out did not partner themselves with any stockholder or shareholder, which I consider very logical and very more than business, business savvy in the sense that they're able to pay their employees way beyond the norm of the living wage to a moderate, if not a moderate to semi-moderate percentage, as it's well known of In and Out to do now, and things would be things would be more, shall we say, more than substantial, more than logical, more than to where the businesses would last longer, be around even beyond even this point. And other business entrepreneurs essentially would take the same, shall we say, business practice in their own aspect of what they want to do for a business, and they'd operate it in the same way. in the same manner. But of course, that they of what they would be able to handle as they grew it without being connected to the NYSE, without being partnered up with any stockholder or shareholder, to where they'd still be able to be known as public operated, be that publicly owned and operated by the family, much like In and Out is, publicly owned and operated by a family, by their own family members, really. Many people may question this. If you want to talk to me about it, we can. Just let me know in the bottom section there, on the comment section, or C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate, and we can talk about it on Facebook. The one thing though too, all of what I said is more than logical, more than sensible. If you want me to talk about anything else, please let me know. And if you're a new watcher to this video, first, be that of course if it's your first time, be sure to like and subscribe. Press the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get many other videos of mine besides Business Advocate and many others. And whenever I upload another Business Advocate video, you'll get that as well. This is C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate, or CBA, essentially, abbreviation. Never give in to failure. Stay strong, stay self-assured, emotionally, psychologically, self-confident, and think positively, vocalize positively, and many things will come your way ever so gradually, granted, at times, if not right away, right off the bat, because that doesn't always happen. But things will come your way the more you stay positive, emotionally, psychologically to start with, and verbally as well. Have a good day.